Welcome back to OpenLine, talking all about the Nashville Film Festival. Brian Owens is with us. He, of course, knows all about it. And I said as we went to break, we've gone through several of the categories. One is horror.
Yes.
That's one we haven't touched upon. And I don't see tons of horror movies, but I go at the film festival and see some of these. They're unique.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think unique is a very good word. Yeah, they're not the normal stuff, again, that you would see. No. And we bring in some really unique stuff. We call it Graveyard Shift is the name of the section at the festival. And one of the things we're doing this year is like each of them will get played once a night throughout the festival, and then on the final Friday, the 22nd, they're all going to come back. So you can have like your own little mini horror festival that night. But some of the unique ones, we have Baskin, which is a Turkish horror film about some cops that go on a basic patrol, but it turns into not a very basic patrol. There's lots of portals to hell in the movie. There's a kind of a theme that developed.
A lot of that, okay.
Because there's one called Curtain about like a nurse who's kind of she's worn out, like tired of her job, moves into a new apartment, and her shower curtains keep disappearing because her shower is a portal to hell. So I mean, like there's all these like weird, funny, like unique circumstances. We have one from Lebanon called Maskoun. And the filmmakers are going to be here with it.
Okay, love
so
that.
I mean, if you love Lebanese horror, and who doesn't, you'll definitely want to catch that one. But you know, again, we have filmmakers coming from all over the place. We have the Japanese films, Tamago, which is a new directors. They're coming. So I really want people to try to get out there and welcome our guests that are. And we're not able to afford that international travel, so these people are footing their own bills to be here.
Oh wow!
So we want to make sure that we show them a great time, give them really full houses.
I remember a couple of years ago there was one, and it was probably just a big marketing ploy, but supposedly at Sundance someone was so scared they passed out or had a seizure or something. Maybe it was VHS.
Yes.
One of those.
Well, I think honestly
it was part of the lore of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I love VHS, but I think honestly the reason they passed out was because it was like shaky cam.
Yeah.
And I know that some people can get motion sickness from that. So, but no, it was a great film. That was the same. Was that the same year we had Troll Hunter? Because that was one of my favorites that I've ever seen in the Graveyard Shift.
And so the Graveyard Shift, it starts so it's obviously later, right?
Yeah,
so
they
these are going to be
generally
later
speaking 9:30 at night. I think one has to start at 10 based on some scheduling thing, but most of them are like between 9:30 and 10 every night. Usually it's the last movie to start the evening, so it's for our latecomers, our people who don't need to be up, to go to work necessarily at 7 a.m. the next morning or 6 a.m.
All right, let's go to Phoenix. Hello, Phoenix.
Hello, how are you?
Great. What's on your mind?
Okay, so do I have to pay $12 a ticket every time, or is there some package I can get?
There are packages. There's $250 packages, which is the silver membership, and that lets you turn all your movie tickets into $5, but it also gets you happy hour drinks, gets you to the opening and closing night party, and then there's a $3.99 pass where the price becomes $0 for the movies, and you can use it up to 40 different movies. So that's an option. Also, if you just want to get one of our basic memberships, which is as low as $45, then the ticket price gets lowered from 12 to 8, so you save 25%, and you donate to the festival, which we are a not-for-profit as well. So there's a lot of different options to take in the films. And as I mentioned, like with the short films, you don't pay $12 for that. You'll pay $12 for a set of short films that will add up to about 85 to 90 minutes.
Phoenix, very good question.
Yeah, thank you for that one.
I'm glad you called in with that question.
Appreciate that.
And this festival has really been a launching pad for actors and directors and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a couple of stories that come to mind. One of my first years, I think it was my second year here, our winning film for the Best Made Tennessee Short came with a $3,000 closing package, and the director, Clay Jeter, used that to make his debut feature, Jess and Moss, which then went on to world premiere at Sundance. Of course, came back to our festival as well. But yeah, so I mean, we got to see him springboard from the festival. But one of my other favorite stories is an actress from New Zealand who moved here with her husband a few years ago, decided that, coming to the festival is a great way to meet people. And I met her that year, and she said, well, I was just so grateful to be able to come to something like this. The next year, she came back, and she was an actress in 4 different films that were at the film festival. So, I'm not saying every actor is going to find it. They're not going to, have their star made at the festival. But if you're involved or even interested in getting involved in the film industry, I strongly recommend coming to the festival because there's panels and workshops. There's how to finance your first film. We've got a screenwriting conference as part of it this year. So if you want to write or you feel like you're getting started in writing films, this is a great time to do it. And you can network and meet people all around, from all around the world and all around the country.
Because if you think about it, all these directors are here,
right,
screening their movie, and so actors or whomever can talk to them, and there are these connections that are made.
Yeah, connections get made all the time. And actually, another one, because we mentioned VHS, Joe Swanberg, who was one of the directors of that, was here with that movie that year. And then Zach Parker was here with his movie Scalene. The very next year, we had the movie Proxy, directed by Zach and starring Joe, because they'd met at this festival and decided that they wanted to work together in some way. So, I mean, things like that happen all the time.
See, that was great. All right, another movie we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this is a huge movie. I think you said 3 screenings already.
Yeah, we already had to add a third screening. We'll see where it goes from here.
Josephine. And we have some video of it. We'll kind of play it underneath, but this is such a big movie and it has this local connection. Let's talk about that again.
Yeah, again, it's about the Civil War, a woman set in the Civil War whose husband goes off and is missing in action. So she decides to dress in his clothes to try to figure out what happened. One of the things that I'm excited about this movie, it is Rory Feek's debut as a director. Most people will know him as a musician. So again, with a launching pad, we also are a way to help people alter their careers or add new pieces to their career. And I know, like I said, this is going to be a big night, and we're going to see incredible things happen when this movie plays. I do strongly recommend a tissue if you plan on coming to it. Again, an emotional movie made more emotional by the circumstances surrounding it. But I'm excited to see the response that it's going to get. This is a world premiere, and that's one of the other things that we're really proud of. The world premieres, like we mentioned, Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me a couple years ago, that went on to amazing things. And I expect that this film is also going to do some pretty amazing things post-festival.
How rare is it to have a third film added already? Do you do that often? And is there any other movie this year you're doing it for?
For a handful, we've added third screenings. I truly predict that this is going to join only a couple other titles that we world premiered. The Identical, that had Ashley Judd and Seth Green, and that went on. We added a third screening of that. And then Black, White, and Blues, starring Mario Van Peebles, Michael Clark Duncan. That one we added a third screening. Boulevard with Robin Williams, we added a third screening.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's usually the combination of having local connections and big names is usually where you see these types of numbers. But it's going to go. Josephine will go down as one of our biggest hits at the festival that we've ever had.
All right, that's great. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We'll talk about tickets and whatever else. Wrap everything up. Be back right after this.
Sure thing.